Hello everyone and welcome to Biology Simplified. Today we will be again continuing the topic Reproduction in Organisms Part 2, and this is for the students of class 12th. The NCERT would be covered line by line, and also this is important for your NEET preparation. If you haven't watched part 1 of this video, please watch that and we will be continuing the chapter in this video. Now, when we talk about reproduction, asexual reproduction is what we discussed in our last video. Today, we will be talking primarily about the sexual reproduction. Now, sexual reproduction, this involves the formation of male and female gametes. So, sexual reproduction में मेल और फीमेल गेमीट्स दोनों का ही इन्वॉल्वमेंट होता है और ये बनते हैं या तो सिर्फ एक ही ऑर्गेनिज्म में या फिर अलग अलग दो ऑर्गेनिजम्स में. Okay, so NCERT writes about they are either formed by the same individual or by the different individual of the opposite sex. So what does this mean? When and how is it possible in the same individual? Let us see first this. So if we have individuals which are bisexual or which are monoecious, so when we talk about monoecious organisms or when we talk about bisexual organisms, these are the animals which have both male and female sex organs in the single organism. Okay, so for example, we have in the snails, for example, we have in the leeches and also the earthworm. So these organisms, a single organism is going to have both male and female सेक्स ऑर्गन्स. सेम ऑर्गेनिज्म में, एक ही ऑर्गेनिज्म में दोनों मेल एंड फीमेल सेक्स ऑर्गन्स दोनों ही प्रेजेंट हैं. ओके, सो सच ऑर्गेनिजम्स आर व्हाट यू कॉल एज बायसेक्सुअल ऑर्गेनिजम्स या फिर मोनोएशियस ऑर्गेनिजम्स. तो अगर ऐसा होता है, सो देयरफॉर यू नो द सिंगल ऑर्गेनिज्म इज इन्वॉल्वड इन द सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन. फाइन. एंड व्हाट इफ two of them are present? So for example, when we talk about human beings are unisexual, or you can also call it as dioecious. Okay, so here we have male and female gonads are found in separate individuals. Okay, so this is a case where it is a dioecious organism are involved, and here we have opposite sex, and but then two individuals are involved in the sexual reproduction. Fine. So therefore this line justifies here that we have read earlier. Sexual reproduction is basically involving the formation of male and female gametes, which is either by the same parent, या तो वो एक ही इंडिविजुअल में दोनों होंगे या फिर वो डिफरेंट इंडिविजुअल में होंगे जो कि ऑपोजिट सेक्स के होंगे, जैसे कि हमने ह्यूमन बींग्स का एग्जाम्पल समझा. ओके, एंड इफ इट इज द सेम इंडिविजुअल, देन वी हैव सीन एग्जाम्पल्स लाइक यू नो विच आर द एनिमल्स विच आर हर्माफ्रोडाइट, या फिर जिसको हम एग्जाम्पल्स में हम अर्थवॉर्म देख रहे हैं, लीचेस देख रहे हैं, या फिर स्नेल्स देख रहे हैं, विच आर ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज द मोनोएशियस और द बाइसेक्सुअल ऑर्गेनिजम्स. Okay, I hope this line is clear. Now moving to the next point. Now these gametes fuse from the zygote, which develops to form the new organism. So when the gametes are released from the male and the female parent, now these gametes are further fusing together. Okay, so there is the fusion of the gamete. Now this fusion of gamete, if you remember, we call this term as syngamy. Yes, syngamy is what you call as the fusion of gametes, or you can also call this event as fertilization. Fertilization. Okay, so you can call it either syngamy or fertilization. And once the gametes are fused, what are they forming? They are forming zygote. Now this zygote is going to further develop into the new individual. जब ये zygote further develop होता है, so this zygote is further developing, and you know there is a mitosis of cells, और finally फिर ये जो नए individual में further develop होता है. Okay, now this is not a simple process, it is an elaborate and a complex process, and it also takes some time. So a slow process when you compare it with the asexual reproduction. Fine, so first we will have the fusion of gametes, which we call as syngamy or fertilization, and the zygote is formed in this. Now this zygote further develops, zygote आगे फिर से develop होता है, and it will be developing into the new individual. Okay, so this is what is happening in sexual reproduction, and this is how it is different from the asexual reproduction. It is a pretty slow process, it is an elaborate process, and it is also more complex than the asexual reproduction. Now next is, because of the fusion of male and female gametes, sexual reproduction results in offsprings that are not identical to the parents or amongst themselves. क्योंकि इसमें हम लोग फीमेल और मेल gametes का, now this is your female gamete and this is your male gamete. Okay, now here in sexual reproduction we discuss about the fusion of male and female gamete. हम पढ़ते हैं कि fusion होता है male और female gamete का, इसलिए जो offspring बनता है वो बिल्कुल आइडेंटिकल नहीं होता, मतलब इट इज़ नॉट लाइक एग्जैक्टली सेम एज दैट ऑफ द पेरेंट्स, क्योंकि अगर आपको याद है तो हमने लास्ट वीडियो में एसेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन में पढ़ा था कि जो ऑफस्प्रिंग बनता है दे आर द क्लोन कॉपीज ऑफ देयर पेरेंट्स एंड ऑल्सो दे आर वेरी आइडेंटिकल अमंगस्ट ईच अदर. यस, सो बट यहाँ पर सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन में ऑफस्प्रिंग्स आर नॉट आइडेंटिकल टू द पेरेंट्स, वो अपने पेरेंट्स से आइडेंटिकल नहीं होते, बिकॉज यहाँ पर वी हैव the two parents which are involved. Okay, so and also they are not identical amongst themselves. अपने आप में भी जो डिफरेंट ऑफस्प्रिंग्स बनेंगे वो आपस में भी नहीं आइडेंटिकल होंगे, आपस में भी बिल्कुल सेम नहीं होंगे, एंड दे विल बी एग्जिबिटिंग वेरिएशंस. ओके, सो दे विल बी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम देयर पेरेंट्स एंड ऑल्सो वो आपस में भी आइडेंटिकल नहीं होंगे. Okay, so this is an important point of sexual reproduction, which is again different from what we read in asexual reproduction. Next is, all the organisms have to reach a certain stage of growth and maturity in their life before they are reproducing sexually. Fine. So this is what is they are calling here, what they are saying कि हर organism को अपनी life में एक certain stage पर पहुंचना पड़ता है before it starts to reproduce sexually. Fine. So for example, if you're taking example of this hen, this is the egg, it is going to be hatching and उसमें से हमारे पास chick आता है. Fine. So now this chick cannot, this is not able to reproduce once it is born, so it has to further grow and it has to reach a certain stage in the life wherein जब वो start कर सकता है reproduction आगे proceed करना. Fine. So therefore they are saying all organisms, हर किसी organism को एक certain stage पर पहुंचना पड़ता है of growth and maturity, जब उनकी body grow हो जाती है and all the organs are also, reproductive organs are also matured in their life before they can reproduce sexually. Fine. Now this period of growth is what you call as juvenile phase. So this is very important. Juvenile phase, यही वो पीरियड है लाइफ का विच इज कॉल्ड एज द जुवेनाइल फेज. हम इसके बारे में और देखते हैं एग्जाम्पल से. सो लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल वी हैव butterfly as well. So when we talk about butterfly, we have 4 stages of butterfly. First one is the egg, then we have the larvae stage or the caterpillar stage. So if we discuss over here, this first is the egg here, and next we have the larva which is going to be coming out, larva or caterpillar we can say. Then we have the next stage which is called as the pupa, and lastly we have the adult butterfly. Okay, so this is what is being said here कि कोई भी ऑर्गेनिज्म जो है जब तक वो अपनी ग्रोथ प्रॉपर नहीं करेगा, जब तक वो एक मेच्योरिटी गेन नहीं करेगा, तब तक वो फर्दर आगे रिप्रोडक्शन नहीं कर सकता. Fine. So this is clear. So therefore we can also say juvenile phase is what you call as the, it is also known as the vegetative phase in the plants. Plants, we call this phase as vegetative phase, and this phase is of variable durations in different organisms. So different organisms can take their own time, they will have different time of growth and maturity, and it is not going to be the same in all the organisms. Okay, and what do we call this in plants? We call this as the vegetative phase. Now let us see what happens in plants. When we talk about plants, this is the vegetative phase. Now this is the period of growth between germination and flowering. Okay, specifically for plants we are studying here. So here we can see there is a seed germination. The seed is germinating. Okay, so when we are then this seed is further growing further, and when we are giving all ample conditions for the plant to grow, so this would be flowering later on. Okay, so this stage is what you call as flowering in plants. Okay, so this time or the duration between, so this period of entire period of growth, what is happening from the first stage, which is germination, then it proceeds further and further until it ends at flowering. This entire phase of development in plant is called as वेजिटेटिव फेस. ओके, सो जर्मिनेशन से लेकर फ्लावरिंग की जब हम प्लांट्स में बात करते हैं, सो दिस एंटायर पीरियड ऑफ ग्रोथ विच इज हैपनिंग इन प्लांट्स इज व्हाट यू कॉल एज द वेजिटेटिव फेस इन प्लांट्स. ओके, next is, when we talk about animals, we have to study two cycles. First one is Ostral Cycle and the second one is menstrual cycle. So let us talk about Ostral Cycle first. What is this? So when we talk about the non-primates, okay, so the animals which are non-primates, or the mammals which are non-primates, for example, you know, cows are there, sheep, rats are there, deer, dogs, tiger, etc. All these animals are non-primates. So they are showing some cyclical changes which is happening during the reproduction. Fine. So they are having a heat period, okay, which is the period during which they indulge into sexual intercourse. So this is what you call as Ostral cycle in non-primate organisms. Okay, but when we talk about primates, they have another cycle which you call as the menstrual cycle. So menstrual cycle is seen in primates such as, you know, monkeys, apes, human beings also have this menstrual cycle. So this is the cycle which is the reproductive phase for the mammals or the primates. Okay, when we talk about the primates, they have the menstrual cycle. When we talk about the non-primates, mammals, then they have the estrus cycle. Okay, I hope this much is clear. Now in the next video, we will be discussing about events which happen in sexual reproduction. Okay, so we'll be talking about stepwise all the events which happen in the sexual reproduction. If you have liked the video, please subscribe the channel and press the bell notifications so that you can get regular updates about our upcoming videos. Thank you.